Bootcamp is about to begin. Rise up, it's time to log in. LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting this day. We live for the beats we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We live for the beats we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic is our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot could be asked, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will praise and we will earn. Once you gain his tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic is our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic is our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Their own bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the run and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
GMet, welcome once again, everybody, to the LP Army Boot Camp. This is day 2. I am joined in studio once again by my fantastic boot camp instructors, Photon Magic and Hashirama.
Hello, guys.
How's it going, everyone?
All right, man. Thanks, guys, for helping out today. I also have a special guest with me today, Zen from Meteora. How's it going on, brother? Oh, it's pretty good, Heavy. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for joining me, buddy. You know, you are the absolute best. Thank you for leading the team and shipping such a cool product. But you go hang out over there. Okay, bro. All right, man. Well, that was fun. Let's get cracking on this today. Again, here's our disclaimer. This course is only for educational purposes. It's not going to grant you any NFTs or anything like that. It's the education is your reward. The instructors here are not financial professionals. Do your own research, all that good stuff. Same thing as yesterday. Again, use the chat to ask your questions. Our instructors, they're here to help you out. You do need to complete both days of this course in order to graduate. If you missed day one, it's recorded. It's out there on the LP Army YouTube as well as X. So you can watch that. And we also welcome your feedback in our Discord. Again, this is just recapping from yesterday how the graduation, the roles work. If you pass the test, you're going to get the bootcamp trainee role in the Meteora Discord. If you pass the test and today's graduation task, you're going to earn the LP Army private role in both the Meteora Discord and the LP Army Discord. But if you don't pass day one, you need to try again. But you know, if you pass with day one and you don't pass day two, it's okay. You'll have the bootcamp trainee, and you can always just finish off with the graduation task at a later time. Okay, guys, so here's the path to success. Okay, we don't just jump into this and just start dumping money. Okay, you need to have a plan, figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. You've got to understand safety, how to be safe on chain. This DeFi is permissionless, and there's all kinds of people out there that, you know, they want to steal your money or scam you. So understanding safety and using safety tools is so critical, and we're going to cover all of that today. Practice, practice, practice. You know, before you scale up and start putting larger amounts of money, go small. And utilize the DLM playground. We showed that to you yesterday. It's a great way to practice without risking any money at all. Study. There's so many resources out there. Pay attention to what you're doing. Like if you failed somewhere, you know, see what you did. What could you have changed? Obviously manage risk. That kind of ties into everything with the being safe, but also how much you are using each time. Don't overextend yourself, and I would avoid riskier plays. Emotion is one of the biggest killers in crypto. It's not just for LP, but when you get emotional about it, you will make bad decisions. You are many times your own worst enemy here. By getting upset about it, you have to think logically. Of course, learn from your mistakes. And finally, collaborate. One of the greatest things about the LP Army is we collaborate, we help each other out, we celebrate our wins together, we cry when we lose together, you know, but we're sharing strategies and ideas and answering questions. That is the power of the LP Army. So collaborate with us on your path to success. Okay, so now we're going to get into safety. In every pool, on every token, you will see, when you click on that link, you will see a link right here. It will take you to rug check and bubble maps. Those are the first two things that you want to look at here. Rugcheck.xyz. Here is something, this is like a really nasty token, all the information that you're getting from rugcheck, like freeze authority. That token could be frozen and you wouldn't be able to sell it. Mint authority, meaning the token creator can make more at any time. They can change the metadata. Single holder ownership is really high here, 55%. That's bad. Top 10 holders, high ownership, meaning they could dump you and kill that token at any time. So there's a lot of things. Now, all of these aren't necessarily bad by themselves, but this one is like, that's a guaranteed rug right there on that token. Now, here's an example of one that it's good, low amount of LP providers. That could just be that it's a fresh token and there's not many pools and many LP providers yet. If it's an older token and you see this, you would probably want to avoid it. And there's just one, if it just says good, okay, that's not the only safety check, but that's there. Now, here's one that on the surface, this doesn't look good. Okay, this looks like a very sketchy token. The reality of this is the Seeker token for the Solana Seeker phone, legit token. They have these for a specific reason. So this is not the only reason or thing that you want to look at in this case. But this is actually a good token. Next is bubble maps. And bubble maps is a tool designed to help show you how a token is distributed across the entire space. Each one of these bubbles represents a wallet, and the size of the bubble indicates how much they hold. And you can see in the column like the percentages. One thing that I look at is if I see a whole bunch of wallets together with the exact same percentage, that could be a warning sign. But this one, I don't see any bundlers or anything like this. That one looks pretty solid. Here's another example of one. Now, like you see the different colors, these things are tied together, meaning that there's transfers of tokens between these. Now, this could be liquidity pools. It could be legitimate things like that. And bubble maps sometimes will hide that. You'll see like up here at the top, these two, this is the pump swap pool and the Meteora pool. They're hidden. If you showed those, it would look like huge bundling, but that's just interactions with the liquidity pool itself and not a sign of actual bundlers. Here's another one where you can see like the breakdown. You know, you click on this and the screen is all these wallets together. We see volume bots. They're generating volume. That might be a little sketchy, but it depends on how much there is here. Here, these volume bots are currently showing 0%. So this one doesn't look too bad. Sometimes people are just transferring between two wallets, and that's not that big of a deal. Now, this one is super danger. This is extreme case of hyper bundling this token so bad. You see this equal percentage all throughout all these, you know, it's probably hundreds, if not thousands of wallets. This is a guaranteed rug. Yeah, it does look like a flower. So that one is super bad. You definitely want to stay away from that. And we'll show these in practice later on as we keep going. Okay, so now GMGN charting tool. It's one of my favorites and a lot of DGen's favorites tool. It's got a ton of information that you can use to check the safety of a token itself. The top 10 holders, like in this information here, you will see like the top 10, they're only holding 14.96%. So that's okay. The dev is not holding any. You'll see the number of holders. If the number of holders is very small, that's a danger warning sign. Snipers, insiders, phishing wallets, those are scam wallets. And also bundlers. We showed on the bubble map some bundlers. Now, a bundled wallet to GMGN is just basically somebody who has the token but didn't buy the token. So if you're a liquidity provider and you LP into a pool, one-sided, so you only go in SOL, you don't buy the token to LP it with. GMGN is going to mark your wallet as a bundler because you didn't buy that token, but you have it in your wallet. So a high bundle is a warning sign, but like say if the bundlers was 40%, maybe that's not so bad. You have to consider that there's other things in there. They've got a little bit of other safety checks in there, such as no mint, no blacklist. There's liquidity burnt. Here's one very dangerous, right? The top 10 is holding 54% phishing. No bundlers, but this one is like super sketchy and bad. And we could see here, like it's giving a rug indicator, but I would still go into this one with caution and watch that carefully. The other thing that you'll see on GMGN is total fees, and these are fees generated. If the total fees is very low, that is a warning sign. If you see like this is okay, right? You see this, there's a lot of fees being generated and it's not fake volume. The other thing that you want to be able to watch for, and we'll show that, is look and see what KOLs are doing, because these key opinion leaders can have an impact on a token. Some people are copy trading certain KOLs, and sometimes if a KOL gets into a pool, it can cause a pump by people buying it. If they decide to sell, it can cause copy traded wallets to immediately start selling and cause a big dump. So sometimes that's something you want to watch out for. The Meteora pools themselves also have some good information that will show you a little bit of the safety. It's right there in the pool, whether or not there's a freeze authority, mint authority, how much the dev holds, the top 10, how many holders. Again, that's a great metric to look at. And a lot of different information here that you can see is like, is this thing organic? Is it being, held by just a bunch of bundler wallets and whatever? So LP safety, we can see here on GMGN, like right here on the trades, the KOL trades, dev, any whales, insiders, and holders. So there's a lot of information here. Not going to go through everything, but they're providing you with quite a bit of tools to kind of check out the safety before you get into this. Next, we're going to talk about wash trading. So wash trading is volume generated by bots. A lot of that trading is going through a proprietary AMM with like no fee or a very low fee. It's not a pool that you can enter. They're doing that just to create these trades going back and forth to make it appear like this token is hot. This token is a lot of trading. This is the runner. But the volume tends to look very inorganic, and it usually happens on newer tokens, but it can happen on older tokens. It's a guaranteed rug. Here's like one example. This just super even volume down here on the bottom. It's just like also this just nothing but up. Sometimes you'll see nothing but green going all the way up. That is a bad one. You'll see here like these gaps in this volume. Like you have all this just steady volume, and then these gaps here. That's probably where the bot died, and then they restarted it. And like here's another one. Like this is, I mean, this just says Rug City, right? I don't know what that big pump and dump's all about, but this is definitely inorganic. Definitely not a safe thing. So watch out for wash trading. You're usually not going to get very much on it, but it will rug you. Okay, so you should have a basic understanding of like looking at a chart, what candles and volume indicators mean. We're going to talk now about some technical analysis indicators that are helpful for an LPer, as well as some more of those GMGN indicators and the built-in pool info. So the first one that I like looking at is the MACD, or the Moving Average Convergence Divergence. That's a mouthful. You're looking up there at the chart, you'll see the blue MACD line. Whenever it crosses that orange signal line, it can indicate up or down. So here, the blue line is above the orange, so that's a pump. It crosses right whenever the token is starting to sell off, okay? Here at the zero line, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory there. If this information is above, then they're buying and they're selling. The darker the color, the stronger the trend, okay? So like here, we can see a large red peak, and that is a big sell-off. But as that selling starts to slow down, the color changes, it gets lighter. And so that is, again, it's all historical information, but this can kind of help you out. If you can see here, like this thing is going up and then you see the trend starting to weaken, then, you know, it maybe is like, okay, this thing, it looks like it's about to start selling off. And you can even watch that on the chart. But I really like the MACD. The next is the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index. And this one is a little bit trickier. It's very simple, but you need to use it in conjunction with other tools. It's an indicator of the momentum, okay? So this kind of like, it's just kind of trying to tell you whether or not something is overbought or oversold. And when something is overbought, that may indicate that it's time for a reversal. And so you have the 70 line, the 50 line, and the 30 line. Once this crosses over the 70 line, that token, the momentum tends to be overbought, and that could mean that it's time for a reversal. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will. Same with going below that line. Maybe it's been sold too much and it might come back the other way. But it's not an indicator that you want to use all by itself. Next is a super trend, and I really like this one. It's super easy, right? Use it together with the MACD and the RSI, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, just showing you the trend, whether it's red bearish or green bullish. You know, that one is very easy. I think to interpret it, there's not a whole lot to it. But I do like seeing that, the trend. And finally, oh, well, not finally, but the VPVR, Volume Profile Visible Range. And this is really kind of useful if you're trying to select a range, find a range to LP with where the most volume is, okay? So we can see the sell volume and the buy volume, and the bigger the bar, the more there is, right? But you do have the point of control line, and this is where most of the volume was. And so if you're above that line, it's a bullish trend, and below it's bearish, okay? It's very configurable, and there's a lot you can change on that. I'm not always using this one. I turn it off whenever I'm not wanting to use it to select a range, but a lot of people like to do this because you can say, okay, in this price range here, there was a lot more volume historically than right here. It jumped up pretty quickly, and then it stayed in this range here for a bit. So use that as you will, but that's another indicator that you can use. And then the other one is not the same kind of indicator. It's a different type of candles, the Heiken Ashy candles. I really like this one because it filters out some of that noise and smooths it so you can really see better on the trend. Um, so on bottom, standard candles with their wicks, and you can see little bits of up and down throughout whatever this time frame happened to be. But here on the Heiken Ashy, you see it's a little bit smoother, right? In comparison, this was a downtrend. There's no wicks here. Um, and you see the difference here. You had some up and down, but the trend was down. And so that's really kind of showing me like which direction is it going. And so you can see a little bit of dips here and there on these things. So this is my preference. I'm always using the Heiken Ashy candles. To me, it's a lot cleaner and easier for me to see which way is this token going at this time. Okay. So more GMGN indicators that you can use. If you remember, I said volume is king. If we don't have volume, we're not earning money because we're only getting fees off of trades. So we got to have the volume. And GMGN puts in this handy tool here on the page to show you how much volume there has been over these various time frames. It will also show you not just the number, but how many buys and sells and the amounts, and then the net. Okay. So in the 1 minute time frame, there has been, about 2K worth of buys and 2K's worth of sells, but overall it was a negative 626. So that's why it's like going down. But over 5 minutes, it's up this much and this much. So if you click on these different things, it'll tell you what the net buy. To me, that kind of can sometimes be a signal of which way something may be going. If you start to see the net buy getting red negative, it's going down or up if it's green. We showed this already, the holder types and amounts. We talked about this a bit already. That's built in there to GMGN. And also, you can display directly on that chart various things that you want to see. And you use this display here. Let me expand this up. This display here to see, you click that drop down and you can choose different items that you want. If you choose all, the chart will be a mess and it will be almost unreadable. But I like to look at certain things like what are the insiders doing, if there are any, what are the KOLs doing, pump claims, my position. So this is anywhere that I might have bought and sold the token. You can look for X calls, the social media and things like that. And if there's a social media link, you click directly on that bubble. So these little bubbles indicate wallets themselves, whether they bought or sold the token. So that's a handy thing that I like to look at that GMGN provides for you. But that's where it's at, right there on the display. And then built into the Meteora pools, you have some more indicators right here on top. You can see how much volume. This is a new token, so there was no volume here. And hovering over it, it'll tell you how much volume has come through in that last time frame. The TVL distribution. So this is how much of each of the token is actually in this pool, how old it is, its current market cap, how many holders, the top 10, all this. And you can see what it's been doing over these time frames as well. So a little bit of information there, as well as these advanced metrics. I'm not going to go into all of this, but it's kind of just there to kind of tell you more information about the token, the liquidity pool, like what's going on, how much liquidity there is actually active, how many people are actually in there with you, and that sort of thing. Okay, so just a review of our basic strategies: spot, curve, and bid ask. We covered this in depth yesterday, but how do we use these? How do we want to utilize these in our strategy? What's the actual strategy that we're going to LP with? Okay, well, I'm going to start with the classic bid ask flip. This is a very effective, very simple strategy that it works. Okay, and it's great at capital preservation. Again, buy low, sell high is the name of the game here. You open one-sided sold. You're not earning very much down here on the bottom, but as the token price goes down, you will start to generate more fees along the way. Whenever that token reaches at or near the bottom, then it's time to flip. You just withdraw the liquidity. You don't close the position. You just withdraw the liquidity, and then you will be able to redeposit it back into a bid ask like so. So token goes up, you collect fees, you sell it high, and you make money. Now, of course, you're relying on the market to do that pump and dump, or dump and pump. But it's super effective. A lot of people make a lot of money doing this, and it's a great way to start out, especially when you're learning, because it helps preserve your money, especially if you go wide with your position. And I know a guy in Turkey who bought a brand new car LPing using only the bid ask flip. And this is a very old but great visual of the bid ask flip right here. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. So, good old Billy, a token from long ago. Guy decided to open a one-sided bid ask. He chose a range, set this up right here. As the token went down, there was some up and down. He's earning some fees along the way, and then whenever it hit the bottom of his range, he withdrew, redeposited back within that same position, only the Billy token, and it did some more sideways action, and then he came up. It pumped out a range, tons of fees, lots of profit. Perfect execution. This is a great example of one. The bid ask flip works so well. All right, so here's another one. The one-sided spot and bid ask. So it's using a mix of spot and bid ask. Just I go one-sided here, and again, the more spot that you add, it's more risk, but there's more potential for reward, meaning because whenever it's at the bottom or at the smaller part, you're earning more fees along the way. So some people will start out with, say, maybe 70% bid ask and 30% spot, or some other percentage of that, and they may change that over time. That's again about whatever your risk profile is. Okay. One option here, though, is to leave some room. So whenever you create that position, you're still only going one-sided, but you leave some percentage higher. Don't just set it to zero, set it higher, so that whenever you collect fees, you can compound them back into the position, say in a bid ask or whatever you'd like, this way, so that if and when that token does go up, you are selling this token at higher prices and earning some fees along the way. So that's one option for you. The next is the bid ask chill. It's really kind of like if you're wanting to just set a position that you feel comfortable in for long term, or you want to sleep on. Uh, you can set this up just a two-sided bid ask, go really wide, and just set it and forget about it. Okay. Um, Really higher market cap and longer term pools is the way to go with this one. Um, it does tend to earn fewer fees unless you manage to get a lot of volatility, but usually the type of tokens that you would pick for this, you're not getting a lot of volatility. The next is the Evil Panda Strat, and the Evil Panda Strat is one of the newer ones coined by, on Discord, he's known as Logical TA. On X, he's known as Evil Panda. Very successful LPer out in Indonesia. He teaches a lot of people this. It's setting up the position itself is not that complicated. It's one-sided sold spot, negative 80 or 90%. And that's what he's setting. Typically using 100 bin step, maybe 125 bin step, but never anything smaller than that. And always going with a higher percent fee pools, the 5 or 10. The reason for that is if that token makes a big dump and it goes way down, you're earning so many fees along the way that you don't need that much. You don't need it to come all the way back up in order for you to be in profit. He never sets it up with more than 250 bins, and that's why he's using at least the 100 bin step. He doesn't like to use the 200. So 100, 125. Like to compound the fees along the way or sell them. What's really important, and we don't have the ability to go into it, what's really critical on the Evil Panda Strat is token selection, when to enter and when to exit. He's got a lot of criteria. If you want to learn more about that, I suggest you to go out to lparmy.com/academy. It's also posted all over his X. He's always talking about the Evil Panda Strat. Advanced Bootcamp 7 is the one that you're looking for. This video here, choose Advanced, and this one right here, it goes into a lot of detail of how that works. But he also updates this strat all the time on his X, so I invite you to go check that out. Extremely effective strategy. Okay, so now I'm not going to teach the heart attack or the top curve blast. You're going to hear people talking about it, especially in the Discords. I don't recommend that you do this, especially as a new LPer. I do not do these. It's extremely high risk. It's basically putting in a bunch of money in just a couple bins, usually at the top, the all-time high of a fresh token, extremely volatile. Well, sometimes people are earning crazy money quickly. People are also losing crazy money quickly. You can get in at the all-time high of a token, and that was the all-time high, and it drops down. You didn't earn enough fees along the way. It will dump on you very quickly, and you will lose your money. I do not recommend doing this strategy unless you truly have money to burn. And of course, there is a ton of strategies out there that go into a lot of details that you can check out on lparmy.com. People have made so many different strategies for you to pick and choose from. Really recommend that you go check these out. Find the thing that works the best for you, because a lot of these people have different risk profiles, saying, you know what, I don't do fresh memes. I only do more stable things, or I only do smaller plays, or I only do bid ask, or I only do spot. You'll get a lot of great information out here on lparmy.com. So use that tool. It's a great place to look. So now we talk about finding LP opportunities, right? What do you want to LP? And the first stop, in my opinion, is Meteora's own pool discovery. I think this tool is absolutely goated. You can set all kinds of filters, and we will demo this. Filter out by risk. You can customize the columns, what you want to see, where you want to have them, sort. You can find both DLMM and DAM V2 pools. And there's also the ape in feature. We showed that a little bit yesterday. If you find something and it's like, you know what, I want to ape right into that, set your setting, click the button, and you're done. It's my favorite way to enter a DAM V2 pool, especially because there's not much settings to that. You're just saying how much you want to put in, and hey, let's go. Great way to use that. We'll definitely demo this. The next is metlex.io. This is a great place to not only find existing pools, but also new tokens as well. And there's 4 tools. And so I'm going to demo the Meteora discovery as well as the Metlex here now. We'll just pull this up here. Okay, there we go. All right, so here on the Discover page, top performers, trending, new tokens. I just stick on top performers. You have different time frames. I'm usually looking at the 1 hour or the 30-minute time frame on this. So this is information, all this data, say if you set it to 30 minutes, this is what's happened in the last 30 minutes on all these things. We can sort what columns we want to show and where we want to show them. One of my favorite things to look at is fees and volume, right? Because volume is king and making fees, that's what we're after. So I want to see that first. If there's something that I don't want to see, like if I don't want to see these averages or the total LPs, I can just turn that off. And now I've customized this chart to, or this table to what I want to see. I like to sort by fees first. So which pool is earning the most fees right now? So right now it's this NMF, whatever that is. We can also see how much change there's been in this time frame. So in the last 30 minutes, this thing is up 19% in its fees, and it actually just went up some more. We can also sort by volume, and you'll get a different view here. Obviously, Sol USDC is one of the kings, so it's not uncommon for it to have the most volume. Why is it not on the top with fees? Well, because this pool has got a ton of liquidity in it, and it's a much smaller fee. So that's why it's not earning as many fees. You really have to understand which is which on that. I like to look at the market cap to see what's going on here. You see this one. Yes, it's earning a bunch of fees right now, but it's also down 29% in the last thing right there. And of course, you have your filters here that you can select, like Jupe Shield Safeguard, that helps protect you against some scams here. You can use verified, which is show me only Jupiter verified tokens. You know, you can say, I want to see new listings only, no single high ownership. You can filter out stuff that way. You can see that it changes, right? A lot of things that you can choose. This is one that a lot of people miss, is the launch pads. So if you say, I only want to see what's being launched out of the Meteora DBC, you can lose that. And in the last 30 minutes, there's nothing come out of that, right? We can see like what's coming out of Pump Fun. So that's only Pump Fun tokens, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different choices that you can choose here. If, say, you only want to find damn V2 pools and you don't want the DLMMs getting in the way, you can just turn that off. And you can see here's only damn V2 pools to choose from. Or conversely, if you only want to see the DLMM, you can do that. So a ton of configurations here, especially even for the DAMV2. Say you only want to find pools that have concentrated liquidity or things with a dynamic fee. This may help you sort that out. You say, show me only things with quote token for the fee collection, or things with these different types of fee schedulers. You can filter a lot of things out there. And if you mess it all up, just hit reset and it'll set it back to 0. Okay. So now let's go and look at Metlex. Okay. We're going to start out here with the Pro. You have some sorting here. You can see what's top trending, top traded, organic, the best organic growth, right? I like to look at organic growth because it's more natural. You can do a default order, or say, just show me the freshest, newest things right here. And then this little question mark right here, show only unknown tokens. Like if you turn that off, you'll see like these are all like Jupe verified tokens, maybe a little bit safer, but say, you know what, rug me daddy, show me everything, and that's there. It's got the Jupiter organic score right here. A lower score is bad, obviously. And then of course you can sort by price, volume, market cap, all these things. But one thing that, and you can see a similar thing on Jupiter, but what Metlex does is it's also showing you whether or not there's a pool for something. And something just popped up, this Trump coin. It's got a low organic score, but someone has already created a damn V2 pool for it, and they put in $4.77 in it. We can see what's already happened in that. And if you want, you can just click on this. It'll take you straight to that pool. Say, that one looks good, I'm going to jump in. That one actually doesn't look good. But that's the idea. You can also find DLMM pools right here. Pick the one that looks good to you, and you can click straight into it. So the Pro is a great place to find something. If you find something that you say, you know what, I've done my research on this one, and you can copy the contract address right there. Say there's no pool, you can actually go and create one. Until you get more skilled at this, I don't recommend you create pools. It does cost money that's not refundable. But that also kind of tells you something, that maybe nobody has created this pool for a reason. And so on. So, and if you see something with a lot of pools, then maybe it's something better to look at. So that is that one. I'm going to copy this contract address. I'm picking a random one here. Next, we're going to show you this. It's called pools. We're going to drop that contract address in there and click the rocket to go. And no results found. So let's go back. And let's see, let's pick something that looks a little less sketchy. Let's turn that off. Pengu, let's go with that one. So pools, drop the contract address in there. Okay. So this is showing you all of the pools on Meteora for this particular token. It's going to show you some rug check information right here. This is showing no risks. There's the artwork for the token. It's going to group things together. So there's the Pengu USDC. If we scroll down, we'll probably find the Sol pools. There they are right there. Each one of these, it's got a lot of information here. You can go and check out the chart or Jute Pro for each of these tokens. There's some other tools that you can look at here. You can see the 24-hour fee, today's fees, 24-hour fees, TVL, a lot of time metrics, the bin step and the base fee. If you see something that's empty, there's no liquidity in these. So these are obviously not the pools to choose. You may see scam pools somewhere else. I'll show you that on a different tool. But if you like it, you can click right into this. There's a link to the Meteora app. There's also a link to the Meteora Edge. I'll take a moment to explain the difference. app.meteora.ag, that's the main site. It's the main production site. It's what we all use. Edge is where the team is testing new features and functions before moving to the main app. And Jupiter also has that. So it's edge.meteora.ag where you can access that. Both work. It's the same pools. It's the same data. You can do the same thing on either of these. So if you like that, say, hey, rock and roll, take me in there. Let's go. Right? You can do that from there. So that is a great way to look and find maybe the best pool. It gives you a lot more information on this page about the individual pools to help you make the right choice for you. Now we're going to look at DEX. And you can choose one or two tokens to do here. I'm just going to put in that same contract address. Now, while this looks very similar, there's some differences here. And you could do the bubble maps for it right there. There's the bubble maps, and holy cow, that doesn't look good. What is this? Okay, so that's a custody wallet, so that's probably okay. This is Pengu, so it's a trusted token, but you have to understand what you're looking at when you're looking at these bundles to know what's okay and what's not okay. We can see price changes here, but right here, this particular pool, this is out on Orca. And then you've got Radium's pool. You've got the Meteora pool, Pump Swap. And it will even list the Meteora DAM V2. It'll say DYN2, or like right here, DYN2, or Dynamic AMM D2 right there. So this kind of like, it's giving you an idea of what's it looking like across the entire market. Okay. Just see, is the Meteora pool outperforming the Radium pool or the Orca pool or whatever? Right now, it seems these two are catching, well, I don't know. They may or may not be performing better, but you have that. Next is the DLMM Top 100. So this is a great place to go and find opportunities, um, and you can sort, say, show me all, or maybe only show me pools with a fee of 5% or higher. Right? You can sort that out, or 1% or higher, or show all. You can do this. Um, you'll see things here that is giving you the price change. Red is dump, green is pump, obviously. If you see something where it's blank, I don't know if I'll find one here, but those are scams and you want to avoid. So if you don't see data, then it's probably a scam pool and you want to avoid it. But again, like this particular one might be the best thing that's happening. It's on top, and so on and so forth. Obviously, do whatever your checks are. Maybe this one is dumping because, like this right now, this one is dumping a little bit. Maybe that's not the one you want. Or you look at this one and maybe it's pumping. Maybe that's the one you want. You also have the pro mode, which enables charts. And it takes a minute to load, but it's powered by GMGN. You can see what's going on. This agency, it looks like a crime pump and dump right there. So I would definitely avoid that one. In MF, we can see what's going on with it. It's on a downtrend. Um, Nana, looks like there's a bit of volume going on there, and so on and so forth. You get the idea here. Um, ooh, punch is pumping, nice. Okay, but that is the DLMM Top 100. Great place to go and look at the top pools of the day. Okay, we'll switch back and see. Um, have you screened new tokens for the DAM? Are there any specific criteria? Um, in that case, is and Hashirama may know more there than I do about what specific things you're looking for. If you're looking to catch that insane initial volume, it's about being first, right? And one of the things that a lot of people are doing is they're getting into brand new, fresh tokens. Okay, like this thing just launched or just migrated. Um, and the problem with that is that there's not a lot of information whenever it's so new. So what a lot of guys are doing is they're just putting in, say, zero point 0.1 soul or zero point 0.01 soul into that, and they're just hoping, right? And you'll see sometimes success and sometimes failure. Um, I don't know how well that really works anymore, but that's what people. Hush, do you have any comments there on finding DAM V2 specific criteria that you're looking for aside from crazy volume?
Yeah, so if I were to go for damn plays, right now, it's not the best for the market conditions. So if I were to look for something, I would go for the specific launch pads that focus on damn launches. So like, if I were to see like a bags launch, I know that all bags launches are going directly from damn B2. So that's something I would look for. Otherwise, a lot of damn plays are usually micro caps, like HMC said. So we're overall trying to get in early and then capture the volatility from bots, because how bots usually like to do is they usually like to mev early buys and sells, and with the DBC, it tries to kind of prevent that. So our fees are getting derived from that mostly. But as far as filtering goes, It's kind of hard right now. So for me, I overall just look for launch pads that specifically focus on DAM V2.
Thanks for that input there. All right. So let's get back to our presentation. All right. So other ways to find LP opportunities. Well, we have the LP Army Discord. There's a lot of stuff. We're going to start out with the bots here. And we have 4 bots, the Metlex DLMM bot and the Metlex DAM V2 bot. And what's happening there is every time a new pool is created, this bot catches it and shoots out information on it. So like here's one, and it's telling you a brand new pool just happened, SpaceX pre-stocks. Someone created a pool. You can see a lot of information here. The organic score, a little bit of rug check information. There's a lot of risks on this one. This one looks nasty. Actually, you have links to GMGN, Juke, Pro, Rug Check, Bubble Maps, any Twitters out there. Here's one that looks a little bit better there. Verified, that's just Juke verified, so that may not necessarily be bad. You can see what's going on. And of course, there's Sol. We know that's the trusted Sol. And here's another one. This one looks a little weird, but it's the DAM V2. A little bit different information, but it's also there. The organic score is 0. A lot of unlocked LP, but it's also like probably a brand new token. So you kind of have to read and understand that. But you can go directly into the pool. Like if you want to say, hey, I want to go check that one out, you can click right there to go look at that. We also have the multi-day ops, which is it's spitting out information about, say, the top 10, right? And multi-days, things are longer term, things that have lasted a little bit longer. Like here, we're looking at Punch and Penguin and War. It gives you a lot of information about, the bin step, the price change, the TVL, and so on and so forth. So this might help you find a more longer term token, maybe something that might be a little bit safer to get into. And the DLMM Ops bot, it's kind of the same thing, but not necessarily the long-term plays. It's just showing you the top 10 as of right now, whenever you run that, whenever it's working. So those are the bots. The next is actually like the channels. And this is where you're going to find me, Hash, Photon, a ton of LPers. And these are great channels to learn from as well. If you want to be notified when someone makes a DGen call, you go to the role selection channel and select the DGen to add that role to you. What they're doing is they're making a call like, hey, this token, it's a runner. There's a lot of volume. There's a lot of fees being generated. So they create this separate thread, and you'll see them down there. You can join the thread where they're just talking about that particular token. You need to remember that just because someone called a token does not mean that you should not do your own safety checks. Just because you see a call, maybe you see a call that it happened, 5 hours ago. It might already be dead. You need to do your own checks. Okay. These guys are not responsible for your money. You do your own checks. They're just calling it out and saying, hey, there's a bunch of volume here. Okay. Um, you'll also find the multi-day degens there, the mid cap. Token check, people can take a contract address and drop it in that token check, and it will tell them if there's any pools and a bit of information about that. Um, it's a channel to use instead of spamming the other channels with this wall of information. You'll also find things. There's the DGen DAM channel. You'll see calls and discussions in there. That is a great place to go learn about the DAM. But again, like when a call is made on those, you have to be right on top of it, because some of those, it happens so quick that the the DAM only works good for a bit, and then it migrates to the DLMM. Okay. So check that channel out. It's also a great place to learn. But the DGen-DLMM channel, I mean, you find me there all the time. People talking about their strategies, cheering each other on, helping each other out. Again, it's one of my favorite places to hang out. But I would caution you, don't ape into everything that you see there. You may see people posting wins. Don't automatically jump in. If they're posting a win, they're out. Okay. They might not still be in. You got to do your own checks. You got to this one looks a little too risky for my taste. I don't want to risk my money on that one. Don't go into that one. Well, people will give you ideas. And it's like, and the other thing that you have to resist, and this is again, like I talked about, controlling your emotions. You will see somebody post maybe a big profit and loss. They got 40% off of something, or they posted, hey, look at this. I just earned $500. You need to not worry about what other people are earning and focus on yourself. If you went in something and you earned 1%, awesome. If you earned $5, great. That's coffee. And everybody is so encouraging there. It doesn't matter what you made. Profit is profit. A win is a win. Stack your wins and they build up. Okay. So don't focus on what other people are earning. Focus on yourself and being the best. Yes, Photon. Cry in green. So yeah, I love this channel. It, again, one of my favorite places to be. Okay, and we have a lot of other community tools that I'm not going to go and demo all for the sake of time, but you will find them out there on lparmy.com. Community tools. These are tools that maybe we've checked out and vetted a little bit. These are great for finding opportunities. Rocket Scan. I know a lot of people are using that for DAM V2 to find things for the DAM V2 because it's showing new token listings popping up really fast. Damn It kind of does the same thing. Fabrique is also a place that you can just use to find. You'll see some similarities there to the Metlex Pro. So there's a lot of stuff out there. You go out to lparmy.com, look for community tools, and there's the links. Just click on the little planet link right there. And you can also get more information. They have their socials, the X. They may have documentation. Fabrique has a Discord and a Telegram group. So you can get more information on these things. And there's even like some demos and guides on some of these. So like maybe they did a video with us and doing a demo of the actual product. So another great place to go and find opportunities to help you. Okay, so out of range, it's going to happen. I can promise you that. question is, what are you going to do? Well, the first thing that you can do is simply wait. If you believe the chance that the token is going to come back up, then don't do anything. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Just wait. Leave your position there. Maybe if you were doing the bid ask flip, this is the time to flip it around. It doesn't always work, but sometimes patience pays off. Another thing that you can try and do is, I'm not sure this is going to come back up. I want to try and recoup. People will open a one-sided bid ask lower and usually go kind of wide with that to try and recoup some of those losses, right? So you're negating some of your losses by earning some fees with a lower position. Another thing that you could do is accept some loss and do a rebalance, or just reposition that liquidity lower. If you think, you know what, I don't think this is going to come back up. I got on this thing at the top. I don't think it's going to hit the top again. I don't want to just sell. I think it's going to range down here, so I'm going to move down here and reposition my liquidity. You are going to realize some impermanent loss at that point. But it's better than losing everything. The other thing that you can do, of course, is quit before it gets worse. Losing 70% is better than losing 90% or 100%. If you think something's dead and there's no recovery, like this thing is down to 50K market cap, it's running to zero, then cut your loss. Lick your wounds, come back another day. You just can't get emotional about it. You have to stop and think what you're doing here. And I actually did an advanced boot camp talking about this, advanced boot camp 8. But yeah, there's, and I'll show this comment right here. One side token recoup has worked for me a few times, but never 100%. That is correct. I have had times where, it turned a $100 loss into only a $50 loss. I've had times where I reposition my liquidity because I don't think it's going to come back over here. I'm going to move it into this range where it's ranging, and I made enough fees to offset those losses. So there's a lot of different things that you can do here. What I don't want you guys to do is confuse being out of range with the term impermanent loss. There's some people who think that you don't have impermanent loss until you're out of range. That is not true. Yes, you are in impermanent loss when you're out of range, but you were in impermanent loss the first swap that hit your liquidity. Okay, so understand that difference. It's critical to know the difference. Okay, so now what we do with earned fees. Okay, you got a lot of choices here. One of my favorite things to do is compound just that token back into the pool using bid ask or spot. I like using bid ask, especially at the top. I just want to put those fees back into the pool so that it increases that position. It makes it more profitable. I'm going to resell those, earn more fees, all of that. The other thing that you can do is claim and sell immediately that token to lock in that profit, especially if something's going down and you don't think it's going to come back up, or you're lower into your range. It looks like it's going down. Say you claimed $5 in fees. If you wait until it drops even further, well, now that $5 might be worth $2. So if you sold immediately, you would have locked in that $5 worth of profit. So that's another option for you. Some people, they hodl. They hang on to that token. They just hold it. Some people don't even claim the fees until they close their position. And they're just hoping maybe for it to moon and they sell when the price pumps. Or maybe they sell a portion of it and hold on to, what you call a moon bag. That's hopes and prayers, but it works for some people. Another option is you can open a new position at a higher price. Just that one token. It's like I want a DCA out. A lot of times it's used the bid ask because I want to sell and make fees along the way. Which is better, which is more profitable? It really depends. Holding a token and selling it at 30% higher is definitely more profitable than putting it into a position to let it sell fees all the way up, usually. But there's never a guarantee that it's going to hit that point. If I've put money into this higher position and it gets up like halfway and then it's going to start going back down, I'll close it, sell the rest, and be done with it. But you have a lot of options. Okay, so guys, we talked about a lot. We're going to put it all together. Let's go and LP something. Check. Okay. I don't think we have any pending questions. Get this ready. Okay. All right, so here we are. Pool discovery. Let's find something to LP. I'm going to look first at the 1 hour chart. And I'm going to start by sorting by fees. Okay. I see the top one here is a 5% 50 bin step. Interesting. The token is only 20 hours old. I don't know about such a small bin step and fee at that, but it is definitely earning some money here. It's under 1 million market cap. I don't know. I see this other agency, 11 days old, 102%. Not bad on the fees here. Let's go and check this one out. Okay. So here we are in the pool, and I see actually what looks like, that's the 30-second chart. Let's look at the 1 minute chart. Looks like a crime pump there, actually. You see this sometimes. What happens is KOLs or others will do this massive pump on a token that's been way down for a while, and they're trying to get people to buy. They usually dump after. So I'm going to give that one a pass because I don't want to be involved in somebody's crime pump. Okay, Nana, 1%, 100 bin step, 5 hours old. It might be a little risky. Here's one that's 6 days old. So it's not an immediate rug or hasn't immediately rugged. It looks like it's on a pump. So let's go check out this one here. We actually have two choices here, the 1% and the 5%. And it looks like the 5% is actually collected more fees with less volume. Interesting. So let's go check that one out. Okay. A little bit of a pump there. Let's widen out our view. Okay. That one doesn't look too terrible. Let's implement all of our risk checks though, okay? So clicking here, let's go see what rug check says. Rug check says it's good. let's check out the bubble maps. Okay, all right. So we've got some clusters here. You can actually drag these things around. What is this cluster here? Can't. Not giving me the cluster name. Just a little bit. Doesn't look too heavily bundled though. So we'll say okay on that. We see how the liquidity is distributed. There's definitely more on the SOL side. The 24-hour fees, again, keep that with a grain of salt. We see on March 1st, there was a whole lot of volume and the volumes dropped. That's not unusual, especially on a weekend. Today is Sunday, so we've got some drop in the volume. We see the top 10 holders hold 17%. That's not too bad. So we see here the number of swaps and traders, how many LPs are in here. There's 34 people in here. We've got the links down here to our charting tools. I'm going to go into GMGN. Let me, I feel like we all see that okay. Okay, so the first thing I'm looking at is total fees here. We can see 359 fees from SOL. I dig it. Looks fine. There's my market cap. Here's the volume indicators. So in the last 1 minute, there's been $80 worth of volume. That's not good. 5 minutes, 206, 1 hour. So this pool is moving extremely slow right now, or this token pair. There was some volume in the last 1 hour, $87,000 worth. It's not that much compared to this market cap. Again, it's the weekend. Not totally unusual. The last 24 hours, we have 595K in volume. So this is definitely right now not a runner. But we see our net buy. These numbers are not too far. It's a lot closer to zero. So it's okay. Some of that same information, we can see here what's going on with the holders. It's even just showing me a look at the bubble maps. You can also access the bubble maps right here in GMGN, and it's putting the clusters together for me. Here's an example of what I was talking about. So here's the Meteora pool. That looks like a big nasty bundle, right? Well, that's just all of the LPers. So that's not a true bundle. Okay. So that's a safety check. Let's go and see what's going on here. And we can see where people add liquidity and remove liquidity in the chart as well. Let's see what the KOLs are doing. Okay. And you may come to know certain KOLs. Like, I think there's a guy named Frank that a lot of people copy him. So whenever he buys or sells, it can have a serious impact on the chart. And some others like Cupsy and others. Some are copy traded and some are not so much. But you can see what they are doing. What did the dev do? The dev bought and sold. So he sold all. So that's a good thing. That he's not in it. We can see how many people are holding this token. Any insiders? Just one insider on this. Again, the bundlers, if you LP this one-sided, you'll find your own wallet in the bundlers list. So just know that. Keep that in mind. There are no whales in this. And we see what the top wallets are doing at any time. So these are all different things that you can use to kind of help lock that in. And then, of course, we're going to get here to the display. I want to see my positions, insiders, KOLs. There may claims off a pump. If it's a bags token, you'll see bags claims. Sometimes when you are doing a bags launchpad token, a bags claim will signal a dump. But right now, let's see here. All of these are pump claims. Here's a KOL sell right here. Let's see if we can see some socials. X calls going on. A lot of these are just people tweeting about, oh, look, I made this call. Follow me. But sometimes, depending on the token, if there's a narrative, or like say they made an X profile for this token, and then when that X post gets deleted, it can trigger a massive sell-off. So look out for those things. But let's implement some of our other things here. I'm going to first select. I've got my Heiken Ashy candles selected. My indicators, I've already got the MACD going on. We're going to turn on the RSI. I've got the super trend already activated. Let's turn on the volume profile visible range. So these are all the indicators that we talked about today. Okay, we see here the RSI. It crossed above this 70 line, and we can see it did in fact start to go back down after that. You can see it right there on the MACD. After this quick pump, the buying started to slow down and it actually reversed. The blue line crossed the orange. We go down into a bit of a sell-off. But the super trend didn't change because this trend is still kind of going up. More volume was happening in this range here, but there's still, it's dropped off right here. So you can see there was a whole lot more action here. And here's another tool that you can use to help select your range for LPing, and it's the price range measurer right there. And you can say, maybe I want to go from current price down to wherever this bottom was right here. So I can see that that is a negative 24-25%. And that's capturing a lot of where this volume was. So if you want, you can just use that information right there to set your range. That's what you want to LP with. On a sub 1 million market cap, I personally would go a little bit wider. In fact, a lot wider. But if you're wanting to play some risk there, you could set that as a much tighter range, and you would potentially earn a lot more fees on that one. The volume is actually just absolutely died on this one, so we're not going to LP this. But this has been a good exercise to see like what we want there. So let's go back and see if we can't pick something else. Okay, let's see here. Let's look at this agency again. Okay, start over. I want to do the rug check and the bubble maps. Rug check says it's good. Bubble maps. Oh, okay. The pump fund creator has got quite a bit. 5%. That's not too bad. Not too many big clusters here, so we're not going to worry about that one. Okay. Volume's been up and down, but it's not too bad today. Top 10 holders hold 42%. Well, that scares me. Yeah, I'm still going to pass on that one. Let's look again. Punch. Here's an oldie but goodie. A lot of socials on this one. I'm going to skip doing the rug check and bubble maps because we'll look at GMGN, but this one I already know this is a good token. There's been quite a bit of volume on this yesterday. So it looks like it's come down just a little bit, but it's not too much. The last 24 hours, it's less than 1% down. So let's go and look at the GMGN chart on this. Again, I'm looking at GMGN because it's got a lot of extra tools. Once I've made my decision, sometimes I'll just stick to the pool chart unless I want to go and look for KOLs. This is a more established token, so I'm going to look at the 5-minute chart, see what's going on here. There's a lot of buys and sells. Let's filter out some of this noise here. Let's get rid of the X calls. There's the insiders. There's the KOLs. Let's look at that. So here, a KOL sold, KOL sold, KOL bought. Okay, we see that it's overbought and it's starting to go back down. More volume there. Let's look at the 1-minute volume, $243. That's not much. It's slowing down. Okay. This is probably better than nothing considering that today is a Sunday. The bundler is not too bad. The phishing, I mean, those are wallets that are known to, like, usually they try and scam you, but we're not messing with them. A bunch of KOLs have been selling, so that might have been why we had a little bit of a drop here. Still a ton of holders. And let me zoom up here. A lot of times what I'm doing whenever I'm doing fresh DGen plays, I'm mostly looking at the 1-minute chart, the 30-second chart, and the 15-second chart. And you can see how everything changes whenever you change those time frames. And I'm going to turn this VP viewer off for now. So we see in the last 15 seconds, the super trend is showing bearish. However, the 3-minute chart is showing bullish. So you need to look at different time frames to get the full picture of what's going on. The fresher the token, obviously, you're not going to have that much information. But this is a token that's been out for a month, so we can see what's been happening throughout the whole time. And there's a lot going on here, so I'm going to turn some of that noise off. So we get our full picture of what's been happening with this token. And it really looks like it's going down. It's still at $10 million market cap, so there's still a lot of down left, but there is a lot of sideways action going on here. So let's actually, what I'm going to do now is go and create a position. And I'm not going to select a range on the chart. I'm just going to do what I like to do, pretty standard. This is a 20 bin step pool. So putting money in here is not very wide. It's only 12.88% on the negative for 70 bins. That's not very wide at all. While this particular token, you are not seeing a whole lot of change here. If this was a lot more volatile, you would definitely want to go on. But right now, unless there's a massive dump, it looks like a whole lot less change. So you know what? Just to be a little bit on the safer side, I'm going to go negative 30. But it's probably going to stay in this upper part. 0%, 186 bins. It's all refundable. I'm not paying for any bin arrays. I'm going to use a pure spot to start. I'm going to put that in my wallet. Okay, so I've got a position. And I'm actually going to stack on this position. I'm going to put in, I put in, see, 0.1, 0.2 SOL. So I'm going to put in twice as much on a bid ask. Like that. Because if this thing does drop, I'll catch more fees on the way down. Okay. Keep in mind that this P&L, it'll take some time to adjust, but if you hover over it, you can see how much you've deposited, how much you've withdrawn, claim fees, and all of this. This is only showing in US dollars. They are working on adding that to have that display in SOL. So this is probably a long cut, but we'll let that go. Let's go back to Discover and see if we can find a DMV2 that looks good. So I'm going to turn off this. Okay, this one has been running for 3 days. The market cap is almost 8 million. Some volume, some fees. I don't know how well this is in comparison to, say, something else. So let's actually, I'll hover here. I can get the contract address. Let's go check out on Metlex. Let's go to the pools and the contract address. How am I doing on time? Photon.
You're doing, it's 138.
Okay. High holder correlation. Okay. That one looks pretty sketchy. There is exactly one pool for this thing. I think I'm going to avoid that one. Let's see what's going on with this one. Didn't find it. I'm not sure why. Let's look at our token age. US oil. Right now, nothing is looking really good for the damn V2. Frankly, to be honest with you, nothing's looking good at all. Dome. Let's see. Let's check out this one. Okay. That's Daily Moon. Let's try here in the deck search. Okay. So dynamic pool, DLMM, Orca, and an empty dynamic pool. Doesn't look too great. It's got $31,000 worth in it and about $5,000 worth of fees. We could ape into this if we wanted to. Let's go back over here, change my ape setting. We can click right there to actually ape right into that thing. This is showing me the swap exceeds your maximum price impact. Do you want to continue? So you look and see. I would lose 2 cents on this trade. I'm not too concerned about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it for the demo. Click here to view it. And there we go. I'm in. So that probably weren't that much, but whatever. So that's kind of like how we put it all together, guys. I will quickly go over here and show the portfolio. This is where you can see everything that you've got going on. They've added a lot here. You can see your P&L in Sol or USDC. How much liquidity you've got. If you've got if it's turned orange, it means you're out of range. Any unclaimed fees, pool price. Here is a great button. You could have multiple positions in the pool. If you click this button, it'll just claim all the fees that you have pending. You can also close all. Just emergency close all the positions at once. Bam, it's done. I only have one position there, and it's definitely down. But those are a lot of the quick actions that you can do right there with the portfolio. So I can see this one has got 3 cents of profit, and this one has got $31 in losses. Okay. So that's kind of putting it all together. I don't know if there's any questions or anything that I've missed, but we are running low on time, so let's keep going. I'm going to finish off. I just talked about this, monitoring your positions. This is a great place to do it, but you have other choices. Metlex also has a portfolio that you can go and look at, and it's giving a little bit more detailed information. I'll just go ahead and show it right now. So let me get a let me get a wallet address here. Go to the portfolio. And then you can see, and this is a work in progress. He's going to get a calendar for us, but you can see right now it's showing a chart, and you can do 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, or all time. Hovering over it, you can see what you LP'd, any profit or loss over time, the volume and fees that you've got, what you have active. So right now we can see we've got our 2 deal pools showing here when we were active. And then, of course, a portfolio history. We can look at our historical positions right here, deposit, withdraw, fees collected, all of this. Again, this is it's going to keep improving. Eventually, we will be able to see a calendar where you can see all of, like, say, a monthly view of what was your P&L over time. Like, what was my P&L on January 15th? What was it for all of January? What was it for February? And so on and so forth. So that's that portfolio view. We also have Ultra LP. I'm not going to go into a big demo on this. You can use it, ultralp.com. A lot of people like it. I like it. Real-time P&L for your dealing positions. It can give you more insights to your positions, about your impermanent loss, and so on and so forth. It's really great. Right now, if you've aped into a deal position, it will not show up on Ultra LP, but anything else will. I like to use it sometimes to just give me a view, but I'm using it less now because of the Meteora portfolio adding P&L in SOL. I care more about what's my profit in SOL than it is in USDC because the price of SOL moves, and I'm trying to collect SOL. Okay, so now we talk about how to find transactions. Okay, you can enter your wallet, go to solscan.io, enter your wallet, do a search, click on activities, and it's going to show you everywhere that you've added, removed liquidity, or done a swap. It labels it really easy for you. And then you can just click right there to copy that transaction, also known as a signature. You can also find that in the Meteora portfolio. There was the historical tab. You click there, click the drop down arrow. It's going to show you all of your positions. You can click an individual position by clicking that, and it will open in SolScan, and then you can grab the correct transaction ID that you need, whether it's a liquidity removal, liquidity add, or whatever. Right there, super handy. You can also get to that in the individual pools. You look under closed positions, and you can get that same information there as well. Why is that important? Well, surely you guys have seen these beautiful profit and loss cards out there on metlex.io. You can do customs. There's a lot of choices, and we'll actually just show you that right now. Again, the demo. Let's go here. I already dropped one in there before, but I'm going to just run it again just so that you can see it. You can also get one for the DAM V2. It's a little bit more limited in what it will do, but you can get a P&L card for the DAM V2. But here on the DLMM, you can see everything that you ever did. Everywhere you've deposited, claim fees, withdrawn, everything right there. You can see in US dollars your total amount, total deposit, fees and rewards, total withdrawal. Keep in mind that the price of SOL or whatever can impact this. Now, let's say that you don't want it in USDC, that you want it in Great British pounds or the euro or whatever that is. Your currency is probably in there. You just go find it. But I'm going to go back to US dollars. You can choose different default P&L cards. There's one of the originals. It looks happy like this because it was under 10 minutes. If you have a loss, it's going to show a sad card. All of these. There was custom cards made for Met Dobby or even a video, some different events that happen. You can customize it. Say, I want to see the percentage. You can hide information if you want. You can do all those things right there. You can also do a custom. And by doing a custom, you can choose some other type. Let's say, I'm going to pick a random one from my computer. There we go. Now, you can do a lot of different things with this to adjust it, to look how you want. Shadowing, you can even change the colors to whatever you like. You can then download that, and you also have a copy button. Know that if you're doing this on mobile, your wallet app, like if say you're using Soulflare or Jute Mobile, whatever, you won't be able to download from the wallet app itself. That's a safety feature. The wallet prevents you from downloading apps of any type, but you can copy from there. But anyway, that's how you generate one of the P&L cards. There's a few other things that are in here. You can see it's got that initial transaction linked there for you. And there's also something called the Bootcamp checker. We'll get into our graduation task here in a bit, but we can see that it's checking off certain criteria to make sure that you would pass. So that is how you create one of those. We're almost to the end, guys, and I appreciate you bearing with me. And hopefully my dog barking is not disturbing everybody too much. Okay, so here we go. Scan this QR code now. We don't share it anywhere else. This is the graduation task. Here's how it works. These forms are going to be closed on March 15th. So you have between now, today, March 8th, and the 15th. So anytime you need to open one new dealing position anytime on or after today, March 8th. You can do this multiple times, however many, but I'm only going to grade one position, so don't submit two. And I have brand new graduation requirements now, guys. So deposit a minimum of $25 worth of tokens. So you could put in $25 worth of Sol and Jelly Bean or whatever USD. It doesn't matter. The total value of that deposit needs to equal $25 at a minimum. Now you can do one-sided or two-sided. You can even stack strategies. If you're going to stack a strategy, say you want to use a spot and bid ask. Cool. You need to make those two deposits within like a minute or two of that. If you don't do that, if you make your second deposit 10 minutes later to meet the $25 value, it's not going to count. So if I can see that you're doing that, I'll count you. You need to LP for a minimum of 30 minutes. Okay, we've reduced that from an hour. Only 30 minutes. No stable or correlated pairs that include Sol and any liquid staking token. You can't do like WBTC and CBBTC because that's just two versions of Bitcoin. They're correlated together. That's not going to count. Stable pairs don't count. And quite honestly, I've never seen anybody even be successful even trying that. You have to close the position before you submit it. And here is the big key here, guys. You must have a minimum of 5% profit, not just 5% in fees, profit. So you need to generate enough fees to overcome any impermanent loss. Okay. And we don't allow any third party dealing managers, copy LPs, whatever. There's things out there like HawkFi and whatever that, I have no problem with the tool, but we want you to demonstrate that you know how to LP, raw dog that deal, that you understand it, and that's what it is. So there's no point in cheating. You're not helping yourself or anybody by doing that. And we do check for that. So anyway, that is the graduation task. Okay, one or two other things. You guys should have all gotten that by now. If not, you can go back and watch the recording later. Finally, the resources, guys. I've been talking about this throughout this entire course. lparmy.com is built and maintained by one of the LP Army leads, Alex, the creator of Metlex, but tons of people throughout the LP Army contribute to this. My courses, the LP Academy, is all over this thing. You can access this in anytime there. There's the glossary. You find strategies. The Dealerman Playground. Learn how to LP in a safe environment. You'll find global communities. Do you speak Spanish or French or some other language? You might find a global community in your language right there. You can connect with them. There's Indonesians and Malaysians, and so we have several, and it's growing all the time. Lots of tools that you can access and so much more right there on lparmy.com. If you're not using lparmy.com to help you with your LPing, you need to rethink your life. And there we are at the end of this course. Open for questions. Please join our Discords. We have two, the Meteora Discord for the product, and the LP Army is the community. We thank you for attending. We do have 3 minutes. I made it just in time. If we have any questions, I don't see. I don't see any.
Yeah, no fresh questions.
Okay. Here's one. Yeah, and you did answer this. Telling signs of when to cut the loss or wait. For me, especially, like if something is still at 100K market cap, I'm still in. Unless you're just seeing that one clip. If you're getting a one clip candle straight down, get out. Once the token drops below 100K market cap, that's whenever it's like eyes up, we're looking forward. I have seen it bounce. It does happen. Sometimes it doesn't bounce very much. Sometimes that's whenever you want to get out. I mean, if the thing is just going down, down, down from there, then cut your loss. Probably need to get out. You've probably lost quite a bit at that point. Again, it depends on the risk profile. You know, the riskier that you go into can really kind of determine that. If it's a more established token, well known, you don't need to panic on the first dump that you see. Be patient. So sometimes it's warning signs. I remember being in some tokens and everything was going good, and then the creator, like, they deleted the tweet, and that caused a massive sell-off, and everybody ran from that. So it's really kind of something that you learn over time, and you watch and you observe. And it also depends on your risk profile, what you want to do. For me, a lot of times I like to go really wide in those cases. Some people are actually looking for that dump. You see the big sell off. There's eventually a little bounce. Alex calls it the rug me daddy strap. So you'll see this massive sell off, and he'll get in on a wide bid ask at that point and just catch all those fees on the way down. There's usually some kind of, maybe it might be the dead cat bounce or a small little bounce at the bottom. It'll go up just enough, exit in profit. So yeah, right at 2 hours. So I don't know if we need to do the bootcamp stage in the LP Army Discord. We can run it here for a few minutes, but we will go ahead and end today's session. Thank you again to Photon Magic and Hashirama for joining me today. And Zen, thanks for joining us on stream. It's been a pleasure, as always, to have you join us. Thank you very much. Thanks, HMC. It's great to be here. All right.
Great seeing you guys.
Yep. Thank you. We will end today's stream with an instrumental song that I wrote. You can find all of my music on Amazon Music, Spotify, Pandora. I'm not trying to sell this. People ask me, hey, I want this for my workout playlist. It's all free. But it's called Met Bass, an instrumental. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you all for attending, and have a good one. We'll see you around.
Ooh.